Hi, Coach Sandy here. I wonder, are you as ready for spring as I am? It's not far away, and I wanted to share with you some of my thoughts on what we can do to get ready for spring, but springtime within ourselves. So if you watched my last video, you know that we're talking about Atomic Habits, which is written by James Clear. And if you love to read, I highly encourage it. But if you don't love to read and you want to just get the Cliff Notes, then you've come to the right place. So as a recap, the last time we talked about this, I shared with you that we can plant the seeds right now for our good habits. We all have good and bad habits, but when you read this book, it's really interesting to understand how we got the habit and what we can do to change or adjust that habit. And the two-step process to change has to address your own personal identity. It all comes from the desire to change the way we see ourselves, to change that identity, to change that picture. So we're going to go from that point into the next concept that I want to share with you. And that is that opportunities are like buses. So there's always another one coming along. And so that's a quote from Richard Branson. My addition to that quote is to say our past does not define us. Sometimes we look to the past and we use words like, well, I've always been that way. That's just how I do it. It's just part of me. I don't really like change, so I'm going to stay this way, even though there's some things that I would like to change and adjust, and maybe my life would be better or healthier or more active, or my relationships would be better, but this is just the way I am. So I'm here to challenge that. As a life coach, I know that there's a lot that we can do, but we have to be willing to change, go through transformation, and maybe go into an uncomfortable spot for a little while. So when I talk to you about atomic habits, I want to break it down a little bit because it all goes to mindset. So there's four simple steps for how habits work. I'm going to share that with you today. First of all, there's a cue. So it triggers your brain to initiate a behavior that predicts a reward. For example, you want to lose weight. You see your exercise equipment, and so that's a cue. Or you want to lose weight and you see a cookie. So those are cues. You can tell which one might be more beneficial to you. We have cravings then. That's the second step. So the motivational force is the desire that adds emotion or feelings to the cue. So this brings you to another state. So if you are looking to exercise more, you might choose the clothes that you wear more effectively. So in other words, maybe you don't stay in your PJs all day. Maybe you actually want to put on some exercise clothes so it reminds you to exercise. Or you take out your sneakers so it helps to make you see that and say, maybe I can bring some emotion and desire to that side. Then what happens next is your response. So you've got the cue, you now understand the craving. It's filled with emotion. And so the habit that you can take action on will lead you closer to your reward. So now you have to decide, what response do you want to make? What is the action that you want to take? Is it the cookie or is it the carrot? Is it the sneakers or is it the PJs? So you can see that the response that you make is going to be really powerful for what kind of reward you are going to get if that reward is in line with your current identity, your current blueprint of not exercising or choosing the cookie or whatever it might be, staying in bed late, So we can look at the reward, how we are associated to our current identity, whether we're using the excuses of our past not to change. So here you go. The cue, the craving, the response brings you to satisfying your craving. So they teach us through repetition. So what we repeat, we're kind of destined to say, well, I'll just repeat that again. Well, I think that leads us to the concept of, if you do what you did, you're going to get what you got. So what do we want to get? What do we want that reward to be? We can improve our sense of self with an adjustment in that identity. So we can work toward the person that we see in our mind's eye. For example, we can start out walking for 5 minutes, and our identity, we see ourselves walking so that we could go to Europe or go on a big hike, and we want to build up that muscle, we want to build up that endurance. And so we see that as our new identity. And so we now are on a program to improve our sense of self. And it also builds confidence. So we need to think about these steps that we're taking as steps. We're not committing to do it for a year. We're committed to do it for today. So I hope this helps you to think more about your identity and what your cues are and what you want to do about those cues, how you want to manage those cues, and whether or not you want to come to the workshop that I'll be doing. It's free. It's on March 25th. It's at noontime, and I'll drop a link here so that you have your invitation. And be curious. Just drop in, see what we have to offer. And if you want to know more about the services that I offer, whether it's one-on-one coaching or whether it's group coaching with some other women that are looking to improve their self-image or their confidence or step out of chaos and into calm. And then I have another program that's a 6-week program that is really all about mindset. And it really helps us to understand where our strengths are and also our saboteurs. Number one saboteur that we all have is called the judge. So if this has piqued your curiosity, please go to my website at wellness-with-attitude.com. Wellnesswithattitude.com. Check it out and drop in for a discovery call. Just sign up there. This is Coach Sandy signing off. I really appreciate your time.